laptop, Apple desktop, Pro version of the Apple Airpods. The expectation that I had of these was so much higher than what reality actually was. Alright, we're going to take a quick look at the Apple Airpods Pro. To be brutally honest, I love them, but I can't recommend them. So, quick overview, it's the Pro version of the Apple Airpods. Me personally, I've stayed away from the Apple Airpods. Well, a few months back, Apple released these Pro models. Same form factor, really small individual earbuds, truly wireless. The main thing about the Pro model, transparency mode, noise cancellation. So with transparency mode, it's got a microphone on the outside, and basically it just takes the sound around you, lets the sound pass through digitally. Put them on, turn on transparency mode, everything is kind of, you can really hear it. Whereas if you just had them in your ear with transparency mode off, everything would be kind of muffled. And of course, the AirPods Pro has noise cancellation. Long story short, the microphones, they kind of hear your surroundings and then it emits some sort of sound that cancels out ambient noise. It works best with constant droning type sounds, like for instance, you're on an airplane, hear that engine going off constantly. Turn on your noise cancellation with the AirPods Pro. It's going to drown out the majority of that. Things that happen just willy-nilly, things like that, it's not really going to be able to drown that kind of stuff out. It'll do it a little bit, but it's not really designed for that. So you heard what I said at the beginning. I love them, but I can't recommend them. Why? I love the form factor, I love the convenience, but they don't work, at least not for me. I was really underwhelmed with the results of the transparency mode. Let me just pop them in right now. So I do love that it automatically detects that you put the AirPods in your ear. Turn on transparency mode. I do love how I can hear stuff around me when I'm listening to music or even when I'm not. The only thing is, expectation that I had of these was so much higher than what reality actually was. I have electronic hearing protection that has noise amplification, where literally I can hear what the person 3 lanes down is talking about. I can hear the person at the opposite side of the range loading or unloading. That's kind of the expectation, and I guess it's kind of my fault for having that high of an expectation. With the transparency mode, my expectation was really more on amplification, where in reality it was just a signal pass-through type situation. In that context, yeah, it works. I can hear this, I can hear that. If I turned off transparency but didn't turn on noise cancellation, I can, kind of hear that, but it's definitely muffled. Things are much more muddy. Whereas with the transparency mode, things come in electronically, but I do hear stuff fairly clearly. I guess with the transparency mode, it's not great. I thought I was going to be able to keep these in for the majority of the day. I find myself more often than not taking them off just to have a conversation. Like I said, it did not meet my expectations. Transparency mode for me, mediocre at best. But the main reason why I cannot recommend the Apple AirPods Pro is the noise cancellation. That doesn't work all that well. So the thing with the noise cancellation, it relies on a solid seal. If you don't have a good seal with the AirPods Pro, it's going to let noise bleed through, but it's also going to affect the way the noise cancellation works, and it'll actually start transmitting noise from the outside as part of that noise cancellation sound. There are times when I'm walking down the street, I'll turn on the noise cancellation and it works. Then I start to get like artifacting sounds, things like that. Something that sounds very, very odd. And the main reason why it's doing this, at least for me, is I can't get these stupid things to seal. On your iOS device, you could do an ear tip fit test. And what it does is it does a test to see how your fit is. Adjust or try a different ear tip. I've done that already. These are the largest ear tips that the AirPods Pro comes with. And no matter what I do, I push them in, I feel like I get a seal, run the test again. Once again, you see yellow text. These AirPod Pros don't seal in my ears. This is my second set. I bought these originally, I gotta take them off. It's not comfortable. I bought these things about a month or two ago. It worked great for about 4 or 5 days. Then I noticed that artifacting sound. The noise cancellation really wasn't working all that well. The right one wasn't sealing very well. I called Apple support. They said try a different ear tip. Didn't work for me. Finally brought them into the Apple store. They replaced the right AirPod Pro. It actually started sealing for about 4 to 5 days. Once again, 4 to 5 days later, right AirPod Pro stopped sealing. I actually brought it to the Apple store, talked to Genius. He literally told me, you're better off just returning it since you're still within 14 days and then just get a new pair, see how that works for you. This set right here, This is the second pair. Same deal. Bought them. They worked just fine. 4 to 5 days later, started hearing some weird artifacting sound again. Come to look at this test, both AirPods Pros are not sealing. Right now, these AirPods Pros do not work the way as intended by Apple. I'm already outside of that 14-day return window. I'm still within the warranty period, of course. Interestingly enough, and normally you can't run the fit test unless you have both of them in your ear. So with this one, I'm covering the sensors, also covering the ear tip. Let's take a look to see what happens. Look at that. This left one now seals. We repeat this test with the right one, and now you see the right one seals. So the problem, it's with this silicone ear tip. Something's going up where it wears out. Because the seals don't work, the noise cancellation is mediocre at best. Long story short, y'all know how much these things cost. They're about, what, $50, if not more, than the standard AirPods. The reason you're paying that extra money is specifically for that noise cancellation and that transparency. If those two things don't work all that well anyway, what's the point? I love the form factor and I love the convenience. Being able to transfer it between using it on my cell phone and using it here on my iPad Pro is fairly seamless. You're paying $50, maybe more, for two features that at best are mediocre or at worst don't function at all. Yeah, I cannot recommend the Apple AirPods Pro as they are right now. And I highly doubt Apple's going to do anything about it. The only thing that can really happen probably is a third party to come out with foam ear tips. Because clearly these silicone ones that Apple supplies are garbage. Even when you replace them, they eventually wear out within like 4 to 5 days. It's such a shame because when it works great. Life-changing. Well, maybe not quite, but it's so convenient when they work. Hopefully they'll fix something with the second gen, but for me, I'm not in a hurry to buy any other Apple EarPod products. You know, and as an Apple fan, a lot of their stuff lately has not impressed me. And all the reviews that I saw online, they probably all did them within like a few days of receiving them. Had I done a review on these within 2 to 3 days, I would have been telling y'all that this is one of the greatest products ever. Now that I'm telling you guys long term, this is probably one of the worst products Apple's had lately. Apple, you gotta do something, because stuff like this, stuff like your current laptops, you know, you're not helping retain loyal customers. I used to have Apple laptop, Apple desktop. Now the only Apple stuff I have is iPad Pro, iPhone 7, and these pieces of garbage here. So, I don't know, Apple, don't let this 30-cent piece of silicone here destroy you in the eyes of some of your loyal customers. So once again, Apple AirPods Pro, cannot recommend them. Skip out on the Pro. Just get the standard, save your money. That way you're not going to be disappointed the way I was. They sure as heck don't work for me. So Apple AirPods Pro, at least for me, not a good deal.